Welcome to the Tay and Todd Washington Commanders podcast, brought to you by Fansided. It's your co-host Tay and Todd. We are inching closer and closer. We are recording this March 31st, and tomorrow is draft season. We're looking at a countdown between 27 days after tomorrow. And I don't know about you, Todd. I'm ready for the draft. I'm ready to embrace the draft. For me is like literally like I used to dress up and just get ready for the draft. I remember during the pandemic, you and I both, after thinking about it, you and I both watched all 7 rounds pretty much on Zoom. And it's just like we just have this, it's just something exciting about the draft, just embracing, drafting your own guy, seeing him grow with the team.
Right.
And Todd, I'm excited. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm excited too, man. It's like, it's kind of hard to explain why you love the draft so much. I don't know if I can explain it to somebody. Like, why do you get so excited about, watching guys go to teams? I don't know.
Right.
But it's like a spectacle. I love it. It's so exciting. And you spend so much time thinking and watching and reading stuff and then hoping that you get certain guys and then just watching it all play out. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Like, we're all kind of psycho. And it doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. I mean, we're exactly 4 weeks away. 4 weeks from now, we're going to be probably more anxious than ever because the draft will be like 5 hours away. And that can feel like the longest wait is when it's that close,
Goodness.
But yeah, that's it, because I think part of it is because it's like we know after the draft that it's going to be kind of dead and quiet for a while. But something about the draft, man, is just so exciting. Like, I get nervous, I get anxious, I don't know what it is. Imagine how the players feel.
Oh my goodness. Goodness.
So, yeah, I guess this will be mock draft 2.0 here in a second. I like what we did last time, Tay. I looking back at it just now, I like what we did. I mean, Treylon Burks is probably the receiver among that first tier, which to me the first tier is Olave, Wilson, Williams, London, and Burks. I'd say that's probably the first tier receivers, right? Most likely to go in the first round. Burks, I probably have the most questions about as a whole in terms of being an NFL wide receiver. You see they schemed him the ball in a lot of ways. Now, that's not a bad thing. It just kind of, I wonder how much. I think if he goes to the coach who knows how to use him properly, that won't be an issue. But if he goes to a coach that just tries to line him up, have him run the full route tree. So that's my main concern with Burks, but at the same time, there's some serious talent there. Christian Harris is a 4.4 linebacker who played for Alabama, who can do whatever you need, And then you add James Cook, you add Trey McBride, who's a really good tight end. Marcus Jones, who I think can be your slot cornerback, and then you add a second-round pick next year. So I like what we did last week, Tay, but I want to see if we can do even better this week.
Yeah, and that was a challenge. Looking back at it, the only thing I did not like about that was the fact that we got Treylon Burks, and like you said, he's more of a. I mean, people say he's legit. I'm just not necessarily sold on him. Obviously, I like the flashier guys, like a Olave, like a Garrett Wilson. But with this draft, I want to see because those guys probably won't be there.
Yeah.
Well, we never know. But
you mean at 11?
At 11, yeah, at 11 to see what we do at 11. That's what I want to see. Do we trade down like we did last time?
Right, exactly.
Or do we stand still? Because if we can get a haul like that, like we did on mock draft 1.0, Todd, I think they have to be considering trading back. Now, granted, you may not get the haul that we had in that mock draft simulator, but if you could, I mean, that makes up for the lack of free agency if you can combine a Treylon Burks a Trey McBride,
Christian
you
Harris
know,
and yeah,
Christian Harris. So I'm interested to see how this one will play out. But like Todd said, this is mock draft 2.0, and what we're going to be doing is leading up to the draft every Thursday. We're going to get ready for a draft, and we're going to
mhm.
see how our opinions change each
Right,
week.
right.
I
Especially
know
as our
this week.
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially as our like depth and knowledge of some of these players kind of
Yeah.
grows and
Right.
evolves, transforms, guys, we kind of who end up on our radar and see how that develops. So, sorry, finish what you were saying.
Yeah, no, because I know Drake London is a hot topic this week in
Yeah,
our group chat.
right.
So I wonder if that will play in the hand of what we do at a pick 11 or if we trade back. But
Right.
I love the spot that Washington is in this year. It's
Yeah.
not later in the draft. We have to wait all day. Like,
Right.
oh my goodness, it's 10 o'clock. Or it's 11 o'clock and you have
Yeah.
to pick.
Yeah.
But the same token, they're right outside the top 10, where it's like you're
Yeah.
going to get somebody who slides. So I'm excited, man. Draft season
Yeah.
gets me going. So I'm
It
glad you
really
all like the
does.
first mock draft 1.0, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping we can duplicate that mock draft 2.0
Yeah,
today.
yeah. So we're gonna do that here in a sec. I guess touch on a couple things from the last couple of weeks, from the last week. Um, what did you think about Jim Irsay's comments about Carson Wentz?
It seems to me that he has a problem. I think he's looking for something that may not. I feel like he moved too quick. I
Yeah,
think with Wentz, I mean, I'm looking back and I'm watching your breakdowns, Todd, and he didn't play bad football. And this is going off like he's coming off an injury. And then he missed the whole preseason. And he
yeah,
still threw for 27-7 and about 36 or so 100 yards. I just think that there was a problem amongst him and Wentz. But I think the GM Ballard and I think Right, what he say his name?
right.
Right.
Yeah,
I think they all love him, and you see the teammates. But I think that Wentz was a scapegoat.
yeah,
Personally, I don't know how much they upgraded from Matt Ryan to Carson Wentz, but we'll see. But I think he's throwing little jabs and
yeah.
at Wentz, and I just don't think he liked them as a person, not as a player.
Yeah, it's Carson Wentz didn't play like he had a stretch in the middle of the season where he was really solid, right? He was something like 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions,
That's insane.
and just really not turning the ball over, just playing quality, sound football. And then there was the last two games where he didn't really play well. The team as a whole didn't play well. But he didn't play so poorly for the majority of the season that you say, well, we are just going to move on from him immediately after we
Right.
gave up a first and a second round pick for him without a plan for how to replace him. That is not the way that NFL front offices move. That's very rash decision making.
Right.
And again, considering what you gave up and considering that, yes, you should have been in the playoffs. Now, granted, the Colts haven't beat the Jaguars in Jacksonville since 2014. So
Mm.
that's more of a Colts problem than a Carson Wentz problem. Like he was not good in that game, but he didn't have help. The whole team was, I mean, they couldn't stop Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars who had just fired their head coach and had countless problems. That Carson Wentz was part of the problem, but the whole team was the problem. But Jim Irsay really does seem to, there's something there. They talked after the season. And it just seems like you said, I just didn't seem to like the guy,
Yeah.
or that maybe combined with he's just getting impatient. And they've had a different quarterback starting for the last five,
I
six
believe so.
seasons, I think.
Mhm.
They went from Luck to someone else, back to Luck, then to what's his name, then to I can't remember all the
Bridget,
quarterbacks, but
Biscuit,
yeah, 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 that whatever.
whatever his name is.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I feel
Brisket.
like Jacoby Brissett.
Brissett.
Brisket. I do
Thinking
love
about
brisket though.
yeah,
Um,
no. Yeah.
but I think that because the season ended the way it did, and because Carson Wentz, wasn't able to put his team put the team on his back this time, Ursay was like, find the next guy. I don't really care. And so, yeah, I mean, it's I don't know how much we should care about an owner's opinion of a player because some people have made the point, how much do you care about Dan Snyder's opinion or other owners? Jim Irsay is not the Roonies, or there's definitely something there. Um, and then on top of that, and like I wasn't an advocate for the Wentz trade, but he's here now, so I have to advocate for him now. But he has shown an ability to put the team on his back. He did it in 2019 with the Eagles and
Hmm.
willed his way into the playoffs with the Eagles when they had no weapons and they really didn't have much going around. So he has shown an ability to do that. But he was definitely scapegoated, though. I think that Colts team is good. They should have been better, and that was again not strictly a Carson Wentz problem. I think at some point you have to look at that coaching staff and say, well, why can't we get over this hump? But
Mhm.
I don't think I really care too much about what Jim Irsay had to say. I'd care more about what the coach and the GM have to say than the head coach,
Right.
than the owner. Um, there was also the topic of Ron Rivera spoke to the media, and he talked about middle linebacker, and it was kind of interesting what he said. He mentioned that it's not an urgent need for them because they feel pretty good about Cole Holcomb coming in there and playing that position, if need be. Now, words are one thing, actions are another, Tay, and they seem to really believe that because they haven't signed a single player who could play middle linebacker. And sure, that could still happen. They're headed towards the draft now, and do you play a rookie at middle linebacker, which you can, but I don't know if having a severe need at that position and then saying we'll just draft a rookie not in the first round, in the second or the fourth or something to fill that role is the most prudent plan. So I feel like all signs are pointing towards Holcomb being your day one middle linebacker, and that's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, for sure. It is interesting, to say the least. However, I know he did well towards the tail end of last year. He had that pick six against Dallas,
Yeah,
which I mean that was pretty cool. And um, I don't know. They have this infatuation with Cole Holcomb.
yeah.
I'm not sold on Holcomb at the mic,
No, me
but
neither.
if they feel that he can do it, I mean, I'm cool with it. Um, I just want to see somebody else there. I hope they draft someone. If the guy they like is there in a second, maybe a Christian Harris. I doubt he's going to fall. That Christian Harris seems like a back half of the first, early second guy,
Yeah,
which we're right in the middle in the second round after the trade with the Colts. So I can't see him going there, but we'll just have to see. I like Holcomb, but at the mic. I'm not too sure. So
yeah. That
we'll
that
see.
doesn't give me a lot of confidence. On top of the fact that, well, who's behind him? Now we're talking about David Mayo
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
or some guy. I can't even pronounce his last name. It's like Krug. You know what I'm talking about?
What's his
It's on the
last name?
roster, a linebacker. It's something that I can't pronounce. It's like
Oh,
a
okay. No.
K and an R. It's a bunch of consonants together with like
Okay.
one
No, I don't
vowel.
know. I don't
But yeah, and then Jamin Davis, who I think you got to just play to his strength, which is not
Yeah.
middle linebacker. Let him use his speed. So that didn't give me a lot of confidence. And then there was another topic he touched on in his press conference. I'm blanking on it right now. Can you help me out?
Mm, I know you mentioned about being tired of
Losing,
losing, and that
yes,
was a big
yeah. After
thing.
2 years, and people, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's your opinion? I mean,
I mean, we're all tired. I mean, well, people kill Rivera for everything he says.
I don't know. That's what it seems like.
Um, I'm not killing him for saying he's tired of losing. I mean, he's tired of losing. I'm tired
Yeah.
of losing. He hasn't been here for 20 years, but he's been here for two, and he's tired of losing. I get it. I'm tired of losing
Yeah.
after 2 years too.
Right.
People kill him for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
definitely there are a number of things and it's not just Washington fans. It's all fans, but this is where we are. Now, Washington fans uh, get up in arms over that are just like completely unnecessary. And to me, that's kind of one of those things like, well, you tired of losing? You've only been here for 2 years. I mean,
Right. Right.
yeah,
The competition for how long we've been losing. I mean,
yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't like some things are just said, and they're just that's what he said. And he said, okay, yeah,
yeah.
we want to win, but I don't. Anyway, but not much to really report. I think my main takeaway so far this offseason is I just don't like the depth at a number of positions, and I didn't feel
Mhm.
that way last year. So, but that's pretty much all I've got in terms of how I'm feeling about the offseason, I guess, at this moment. I
Yeah.
think I said the same thing last episode though. Depth is a concern at tight end, at defensive end, at defensive tackle, at offensive guard, at safety. So I want to see if they're really done, if they're going to do anything else, or if they plan to like we did and like we talked about trade back in the draft, add a couple seconds, add a third, whatever, like make
Mhm.
multiple moves back, and just try to add 3 or 4 guys who you want day one to come in and contribute. I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see.
I would say for me the depth issues along the defensive tackle. I think D line. I think the defensive end they're fine with Shaka Tona, William Bradley King, James Smith Williams, and the guy they just signed from
Oh
Buffalo.
boy, Mafia.
Yeah. So I think they're solid around that. I mean, those guys can step in and replace what was getting produced at the defensive end position last year, I believe.
Yeah.
And then get Casey Toohill still. So defense tackle, I think they're gonna have to figure that out. James Smith Williams is a cross, and I know they like the guy. I can't think of his name right now. Wise.
Daniel Wise.
I liked him a lot in the during the season as well. So I think they're not stressing about the. I think they want to develop their guys behind that, but defensive tackle is definitely concerned in case one of those guys get hurt. But let's see what we can do with this draft.
Yeah, yeah. F.A. Obata, that's his name, and that is a
Yeah,
solid depth
FAO.
signing. I like that addition that they made. Former Panther, former Bill, but
Yeah.
it's a solid signing and adds to that depth. I'd forgotten about that one. But all right, here we go. Mock draft 2.0. Let's get into it. All right, how are we going to start this off? Evan Neal, add protection for Trevor Lawrence. I like that move there. Peyton
Right.
Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau. This is all kind of playing out how you would expect. Now Kyle Hamilton there at 4.
Okay.
So that there's no slide, so that takes immediately something off the board, a scenario off the board for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Giants may go over. Oh,
Ooh.
wow! Now that's interesting. That is interesting. That would
Malik Willis.
that would be a huge shock if the Giants went Malik Willis.
That would be huge.
Huge shock.
Wow.
I would expect the Panthers to. Okay, I think the Panthers go quarterback, but anything's possible. Now they add Garrett Wilson, so that takes a player off our board,
Ooh.
and Jameson
Wow.
Williams potentially 2. Trayvon Walker to the Seahawks, Jermaine Johnson. All right, now let's look at our trade offers here.
No, sir.
We're going to reject this trade from the Bears, asking for 11 and 113 for 39 for 871. No, sir. That's a rejection. The Cowboys offering pick number 24 and 56, a second next year for 11.
No, because they're getting a receiver. Probably
They
something.
probably are, yeah, probably. And then the Bills offering 25, 57, and the second and the third next year. So do you want to go ahead and reject the Cowboys trade?
Yes, let's go ahead and reject that one.
Okay, so let's think about this Bills offer while we look at our board and see what we got here now. Ikem Ekwonu, who is the top player on our board, but we're not looking to go offensive tackle here, and we're not looking to go defensive tackle here, which takes, 8, 9, 10, the top. Really, if you look at our board here, Tay, and we're imagining this is the Commanders' board, Derek Stingley, Chris Olave, and Devin Lloyd are the players that we're probably looking at here, right? I mean,
Yeah, and
based on
Pickett,
position,
maybe.
based on need. Pickett, yeah. I think that I am interested in making a trade and seeing this is the offer we have from the Bills, maybe countering it.
Maybe counter.
And see if there's something, because that's a pretty steep move back.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think-
huge. Yeah.
So if we were to counter this offer, we're taking 25, 57. I think I would maybe ask for a third this year
Yes.
and take the third off of next
year.
year, and then maybe just throw in like pick number 230.
Okay.
So then that way we're moving back 14 spots to 25, but we're adding a second and a third. So we're adding 2 extra picks,
Right.
especially considering there's no one on our board that we really, really want to take right now that we feel wouldn't be reaching.
Right.
The other option would be taking Chris Olave here at 21. I want to
Yeah.
hear your thoughts on what you think we should do.
This is tough because 25 going down 14 spots. I want to play with it. I do want to make the trade, but if I'm thinking this, I don't know.
It's a big step back. I mean, so if we're not making this trade, we're looking at. I mean, who would be the player we'd be looking at?
I think you got to look at Olave, but is that too rich for Olave? Drake London.
But the
Is that
question is,
true?
could you trade back and still get Drake London?
Exactly, that's the thing. And this, yeah. Stingley.
Stingley's an option as well. Yeah. I mean, I personally would not be the biggest fan of taking Stingley at 11 just because.
Yeah. If we were in like 15 range, I'd be cool with Stingley and Olave.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the question really probably is, is Olave or trade back?
Or Pickett.
Yeah. I think that I would pass on Pickett just because I want to. Man, if we draft Kenny Pickett, he's playing this year sometime. That's my opinion.
Okay, let's trade back because Olave, I think that's too rich. I know he's not going to be there at 25. We'll probably end up in the same position we were last time with Treylon Burks.
Right.
But let's see it. Let's do it.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to counter this. We're going to say, give them 230, take the third off for next year, give us your third this year. Propose. Where's the fine?
So I don't want it then.
All right, so we're picking here. If I'm picking here, I'm taking Chris Olave. I mean, you know, we're imagining that. I mean, this is that a reach? You know, are we not going best player available? But then at the same time, if we draft Ikwanu, you know, or Charles Cross, or really any of these offensive linemen, who are they starting in front of? You know, Charles Leno, we just signed to an extension. I mean, I think we feel good about that, good enough to the point where we don't feel like we need to draft another offensive lineman. We're not taking an edge here. So we're not taking one of these quarterbacks. Personally, I'm not a fan of taking one of these quarterbacks here. Because of the Wentz trade. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these players are offensive linemen, and I don't think that's the move we're trying to make.
No, so I go Olave here.
I think I'd go Olave too. So let's do it. Let's go Olave. That was kind of a tough spot.
That is tough.
That's a tough spot. I mean, I guess it depends on where you have Olave ranked on your board.
Right.
If I'm the Commanders, Olave is probably ranked higher than that because
for sure.
I'm not drafting a center there. I'm not drafting a right tackle there. I could take a left tackle, but I feel good about Charles Leno.
Right. All right.
So I feel good about that pick. It looks like the Eagles traded out. Steelers take Kenny Pickett. That makes and then Drake London. The Patriots like their big receiver, so that one makes sense there. Let's see what the Cowboys do at 24. Oh, the Cowboys traded out at 24. Okay. Got a run on cornerbacks from McDuffie, Devin Lloyd, who's a player I was interested in, and that is a position of need, but we got to add talent around our quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's too high.
Yeah, and you just can't draft linebackers in back-to-back drafts in the first round. Breece Hall is a player I really, really like. I really like Breece Hall. Now we're on to round number 2. Desmond Ridder to the Lions. Okay, let's see. Sam Howell. Seahawks made a move for Sam Howell there. Treylon Burks falls to the second round.
Wow.
I think that's possible.
Yeah, I think that's very possible.
Chad Muma's a player I know we like. Kenyon
Kenyon
Green is another player sliding there. Kenneth Walker to the Patriots. I like that pick. Christian Harris.
Oh, Harris.
Looking at our board, and let's see. Ryan, David Ojabo with a speedy recovery. And we are going to be back on the clock here in a sec. All right, now we've got offers. Now we're going to, again, reject this one. And I wonder if offers like this really come in, because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Now here's an offer from the Ravens to move back to 55. We get 55 and 76. They'd get 47 and 113. I don't hate it. I'd probably counter. I don't really necessarily want to give up 113. Now, Trey McBride is the player I would be targeting here personally.
Yeah.
I mean, and I look at this board, I would have interest in George Pickens. If we didn't go wide receiver in the first. But Trey McBride is the guy I'm targeting here at 47.
Right.
48 player. Do we want to trade back a few spots and risk missing out on him, Tay? Or do we want to just take him here? Move back to 55, add pick number 76. I just don't I don't know where we'd be going there at that point at 55.
Yeah, I go with McBride right here.
I'm a big fan of Trey McBride. I think he can come in and really help your team. And I think that's an asset for a quarterback. Carson Wentz played with Dallas Goedert, played with Zach Ertz. So I'm going to go ahead and take Trey McBride. And I think we're both in agreement on that.
Yeah.
I feel good about that pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel good about how it's going so far.
Yeah.
So we haven't added any picks. So we have one more pick left in this draft. We're going to watch this play out.
Yeah, and I'm content if we come out of here with if we don't trade back. Like I said, the trade back area I want for us is between that 15-17 spot.
Yeah. 25 is a steep drop.
That's steep because you're missing the first receiver, you're missing the first corner,
right?
And you're missing. At that point, you're kind of pigeonholed to a Devin Lloyd.
Yeah. Right. And if we could have added that third this year, I think maybe I'd be more on. I could maybe stomach it, but that's kind of a forward-thinking move, which is not bad.
Yeah,
I'm fine with the forward-thinking move. You're adding in a second and a third next year. You probably won't have a second or third next year, but we want to make sure we get a player in this draft that we want.
Exactly. And if you can come out with Olave and McBride, I think, oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's two players day one who are helping you on offense and tell you the biggest. I mean, like we've talked about it, and the defense needs help, but this offense needs to be able to score more than 20 points a game. They need talent. Trey McBride, the numbers he put up this year, it was something like 90 receptions, over 1,000 receiving yards. The offense really went through him. And so I like what he would be able to provide you from day one.
Do you think he'll be there in the second, like that early?
At 47?
Yeah.
I think it's possible, but
if he's on the board, I'm jumping up and down.
Yeah, exactly. If he's on the board, I think it's possible. I don't know if I'd say it's likely. I think it's possible. And I will say, Tay, kind of like thinking about that, why did the Commanders swap second rounders with the Colts? Like, was that really necessary? You gave them a third. You gave them a third that can become a second. Was it really necessary to swap spots in the second also?
Exactly.
And you took on the salary cap. I think they were a little too generous. We've all said it, but you really think about it. They were willing. They were too afraid to miss out on Wentz that they, I think, were just too. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Okay, we'll give it to you. We'll give it to you.
Yeah.
But I guess they were sick of missing out on quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Dolch's there to the States of 98 is. If you miss out on McBride, he's a pick that I would like as well. He moves well. Now, speaking of Trey McBride, he ran a 4.53, 4.56, which is, I love that. But Greg Dulcich is the guy, I think. Now, George Pickens slides all the way to 105.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's
good value.
That's crazy value.
Yeah.
Wow.
Especially in that situation with Kyle Shanahan.
Yes. Yeah, that could be. George Pickens could be one of the best receivers in this class. Here we are on the clock, Tay. 113.
So James Cook is off the board.
Caleb Ellaby, Jake Ferguson. We've already addressed tight end, quarterback. So we're looking at cornerback, defensive tackle,
linebacker.
Linebacker. Nick Cross is a player I would definitely consider here. That's a 4.3 speed safety. Could be your middle of the field guy. Kyron Williams is a running back also that I do really like as well. I think those are the two I'd have my eye on. Between the two of them, I'd probably lean more towards Cross.
Yeah.
Because safety is a bigger need than running back, and both of them in terms of where they are on our board are comparable. So then I'd probably give the nod to the need there in Nick Cross. Troy Anderson's a linebacker from Montana State. I'll be honest, I'm not very familiar with him. So, he's higher ranked, but I don't know a whole lot about him.
What will be the value from the guy for Cincinnati? Linebacker.
Beavers?
Beavers.
He's gone at 109. Seahawks took him at 109.
I see it. Yeah, I think you go Nick Cross. That fills an immediate need. He could play that that you could use a lot. You could use him a lot with interchanging safeties, and
Mm-hmm.
if it works out with Bobby, if not, you got Nick Cross back there. They give you two young safeties with Nick Cross and um, Cameron
Cameron
Curl, and
Curl, yeah.
also Cross will be working out April 18th, I believe it is, for the pro day
Yeah.
for the Commanders. So they're gonna get an up close look, and it
Right.
wouldn't surprise me at all if Nick Cross was somebody that attracted them.
I agree. He's the Commanders need really since Sean Taylor died has been at free safety. Speed is one of the main things I look for my free safety. For you to be a center fielder, you got to have range. A lot of that is speed. There's obviously a lot more that goes into it, instincts and understanding the game, but that speed is a good place to start. So I like the selection of Nick Cross here at 113, getting him in the 4th round. And that's it for us. I mean, we've got 6th and 7th pick. Now we're not picking those here.
Yeah, I'm not picking them up.
So we'll let this play out. But basically, we ended up with Chris Olave, Trey McBride, Nick Cross, 2 guys on offense who should be able to help you, a guy in defense. How do you feel about this one, Mock Draft 2.0?
I like this one. I think it gives you like if you have this draft now, obviously with Cross, maybe I would like a Beavers there since they do think that Cole Holcomb can fill that Mike role. If you could see Beavers right there on the left, Jamin on the right, Holcomb in the middle, that would be, and you could do a lot with Beavers. You could line them up anywhere, pretty much along the front 7.
Right.
So, I would love this draft. Honestly, I would come out of this extremely happy because you got Chris Olave, who may be the best receiver on the team. Some call him the best deep threat in the draft. You get him, I'm feeling confident.
Yeah.
And then with McBride, him and John Bates. I mean, that's 2 guys that you can develop.
Right, exactly. 2 young guys, 2 cheap guys.
Yeah, 2 cheap guys, and you'll be set there for like no longer a need. So you figure out what you got to do with Logan Thomas. But I would be ecstatic with this. I would rate this one probably an 8, close to a 9.
Okay, this is solid. Yeah, I think if there was a way you could make a move back, still land Olave or one of those receivers you love, that's what would make this better. But if that's not an option, which in this case it wasn't, I like it. I do like it. You're adding offensive firepower, which is a need. I am just so big, Tay, on when you get your quarterback, surround them with talent. Mm-hmm. Figure out the defense, but emphasize the offense. And I think if you suddenly are going into this, week 1 with Terry McLaurin, a healthy Curtis Samuel, Chris Olave, Trey McBride, maybe you get Logan Thomas back. That would be a bonus at this point, along with John Bates. And then, what you have in the running back room can work. And an offensive line, with De'Ami Brown there and Cam Sims, I think you feel a lot better, and you really feel like you're setting up your quarterback to succeed there. So I'm all the way in on putting an emphasis on the offense and specifically on skill players, because this has not been in point of emphasis for this team for a long time, and it's about time that it did become a point of emphasis. And it's kind of the way the board fell to us.
Yeah.
Right. We were looking at either drafting an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, or a skill player. And I love Chris Olave. Yeah, absolutely. 4.3 speed, catches everything, just nifty, just knows how to get open, smart guy. Obviously, the type of player Ron Rivera would love. So.
And I just think with Olave, you're getting more than you're getting like a real security blanket, like 3rd and 3. Olave, where's Olave? Olave's going to get in and out of those breaks. Boom, boom, first down. He's going to check the mark. He's going to get there. And then you can't sleep on him because he got 4.3 speed. So it's like, if that's the case, I'm big on Olave. To me, I think he's I compare him to Cooper Kupp in a sense of, obviously they're 2 different guys, but as far as you get that safe feel with him, where he's going to catch. He may catch, if we get Olave, he may very well catch close to 100 balls this year.
Yeah, right.
Probably.
I think it's possible, because I think you could use them at all levels of the field.
Oh my goodness. And people complain about the yak. I'm not necessarily the rack,
Yeah, yeah. Yards after
yards
the
after
catch.
catch. But I'm not too concerned about that with him. We got guys who can do that. We got Curtis
Mm-hmm.
Samuel. We got Terry McLaurin. Not all guys need to be good after the
Yeah.
after the catch. But I mean, he's going to get open. He's going to be consistent.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't think he has good hands. He
Yeah, he
has
does
good
have really good.
speed.
Yep.
And then with McBride, that would just be the offense would just be open. Like
Yeah.
I don't think we would ever have had an offense this dynamic. Even with Kirk
Yeah.
back there, I
Yeah.
think this would be if you do come out of here with a Chris Olave and a Trey McBride first two picks. I think you're looking at one of, if it all comes together, I think you're looking at one of the best offenses in the league.
Mm, man. Hey, look, I'm not saying it's not possible. I would love to see it happen. And Nick Cross there, if he could become you don't have a lot of picks this year, especially in this scenario, you would have a total of 6 picks, a sixth and 2/7. But if you can add, if out of your you have 3 picks in the first 113, but if those 3 picks become really strong, solid, very good players for you, then it's a successful draft, right?
Right.
Ultimately, the more picks you have, the better chance you have of finding those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But it really just comes down to finding those guys regardless
Yeah.
of how many picks you have.
Yeah.
And if you look at draft classes around the NFL, realistically, 3 to 4 a draft is like very good.
Right.
Like 3 to 4 of those guys from your draft class still being on your team 5, 6, 7 years down the road is like that's a very good draft class. So
Mm-hmm.
if Washington decides not to trade back, I won't hate that. I'll be fine with that. If they nail those picks that they do make, and I think that Olave, McBride, and Cross here,
Man.
you could be nailing those picks. So I like it. I like it.
And then don't forget, we can use depth for those last picks. We got 2 6 and 2 7s, right?
I think 1 6 and 2/7.
Okay, 1 6 2 7s. I mean, you'll be good with that. And then on top of that, Ron loves his undrafted free agents.
Right.
So you'll see a couple guys come in, and that's one thing I do like about how the team is built is that you have guys like a Derek Forrest or a James Smith Williams or William Bradley King who have a year to develop into knowing the system.
Right.
And they may not be the splashiest guys, but you may be surprised when a guy comes up, William Bradley King, and I'm just speaking Shaka Tony or James Smith Williams end up having about 5 or 6 sacks next year. And you're like, oh man, maybe, so I would love this draft. How would you compare it to the last one? Would you say you like this one better than the last one, or would you say
Man, that's I man, last I think I'll say I liked last one's better. I feel better about the first pick. I like Chris Olave better than McBride. I mean, I like Chris Olave better than Burks. I think we landed McBride in the last one as well. And then we added a second next year. We added Cook and we added Marcus Jones. I think I'd give the last one a slight nod because you added a little more value. I'd probably say this one is at 8 and the last one was at 8.5, something like that. But ultimately, I think it would come down to how that first pick plays out. And I do have more confidence in Olave, becoming the player that we hope for than Treylon Burks. So I like that area better. I mean, it's tough when you're only making 3 picks, You're only making 3 picks, but I do feel good about these 3 picks that we made.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if they do go Olave at 11, which I hope they do, the wide receiver comp is going to be crazy this year. The depth chart is going to be off the charts, and they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do. But I love where we're at. I think I mean, De'Ami Brown's going to have to figure out what he's going to do.
Right.
But it's a good problem to have. Like you said, it's a good problem to have. If De'Ami Brown does come up and shock the world,
right,
then it's like, okay, well, Curtis Samuel, if he doesn't hit like we want him, he comes off the books here soon. Right. And then you're back at Olave, you're back at Olave, Terry, and then De'Ami Brown. So I think they're in a good spot. I'm just hoping that they make a good decision here. And I'm excited, man. I would like this draft 100%.
You like this one better than the last one?
I don't know if I could say that. I like the first pick better.
Yeah, right.
Like I said, the key with us this year is what I'm hoping is that they don't move past Philly's first pick or
right.
As far as the trade back. But I think the options are open to trade back. But I think someone said today, I think it was Matt Miller, he said that he said people are high on Olave and both Ohio State receivers, and
Mm-hmm.
they will go higher than a lot of people think.
Gotcha. Okay. I think and then the question of like we had Stingley on the board there, 18. We had Olave 21. If I'm choosing between those two personally, I'm going with Chris Olave. I have more confidence in his ability to help your team from day one. Derek Stingley was very, very good in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very good in 2019. But that was 2019,
Yeah.
and it's 2020. 2022 now. He's played 10 games in the last 2 years. In those 10 games, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't the
Right.
level of player he was in 2019. That, on top of the fact he's dealt with injuries, it just gives me pause when I'm taking a player at 11. Because at 11,
Mm-hmm.
I want as many assurances and guarantees as I can have that you will be able to help me immediately. And I don't have that from Stingley. On top of the fact that I think Kendall Fuller, William Jackson is not a bad combination.
No, it's not.
And again, I think you're still not really fixing a problem where you still need a nickel cornerback there. So
Mm-hmm.
that explains the rationale for me on Olave over Stingley because I like the player better and what he's done, especially these last few years.
And they still have some young talent at corner too. You think
Yeah.
what's my guy that got hurt last year and that
Tori
was doing well?
McTyer.
McTyer, I
Yeah,
like him
that's
a
right.
lot.
That's right. And I think they like him
So
too.
yeah. So why
Yeah.
not? I mean, let's just I think with the cornerback position, like I would feel comfortable taking Stingley in the 20s,
hmm
18, 20s. But if you
Yeah.
have a chance to get a star receiver who has good character
Yeah.
and fast and cool with your other star receiver,
With a
I mean,
name
why
like
not?
Olave,
Oh my
such a
goodness,
cool
man.
name. Yeah.
Can you, oh, man?
All right, I feel good about this one. This is mock draft 2.0. We'll be back next week, mock draft 3.0. I'm curious to see. I don't envision us trading up in any of these because the picks are limited, but I'm just wondering if that'll ever happen. But we didn't love the offers we got to trade back. We made the picks. We made 3 of them, but I think they're 3 solid picks. So let us know what you think if you agree. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate your support. This is Todd.
This is Tay.